Hey guys, Constance here from Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So it is... I've got a cat running around the kitchen and she chirps every time she does something. So if you heard her, that's what that was. Alright, so I don't know if you can also hear the other sound that is happening, but it is pouring outside. So I'm really glad that I got a lot of my outside work done in the last couple days. Got the goat shelter cleaned out and all of that yesterday. Got the fencing done and a lot of outside work done because Zeta has arrived. We are looking at probably a couple days of rain, and so I thought today would be the perfect day to bring you into the kitchen and bake some muffins. I've not done any muffins in a while, and so I thought it would be the perfect day to do that. I'm going to bake some muffins that are one of my favorite healthy muffin recipes. They actually have no flour in them. So they are, of course, gluten-free, they're paleo-friendly, there's no processed sugar, they're sweetened with a little bit of maple syrup. They're fantastic, and they're chocolate. They are chocolate flourless muffins. And so that's the recipe that I'm going to make today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line my muffin pan with some cupcake papers, muffin papers, whatever you call these things. Now this recipe makes 8 muffins, so I will be using both of my little muffin pans today. I get a lot of questions about this enamelware that I use, whether it's the muffin pans or the mixing bowls. The brand is Crow Canyon, and I generally get all of my enamelware at a mercantile that is near here where I live. But I will say that Amazon does have a lot of this enamelware on their website. At the moment when I'm filming this, however, all of their mixing bowl sets are completely sold out in every color. I'm sure they'll have them again at some point because these seem to be pretty popular, but at the moment they don't have them. But if you have old-fashioned mercantile country decor types of stores around you, I would call and ask if they carry Crow Canyon because, like I said, it's pretty popular and I've seen it in a couple different stores around our area. Alright, so I'm going to set my pan aside at the moment and I'm going to measure out some almond butter. Give this a quick stir here because my oil has separated. So you're going to want to preheat your oven to 325 degrees. The first thing I need is a half a cup of almond butter. So I'm going to go ahead and measure this out. And I am using an almond butter that is completely natural. It's the kind where when you go to the store they have that machine with all of the whole roasted almonds in there, and you just press the button and it grinds it into butter right in front of you. That is my favorite kind of nut butter to use. Now if you purchase nut butter that is, pre-ground, it comes as almond butter, I would recommend checking the label. A lot of times pre-made almond butters have added sugar in them, so if you are trying to avoid sugar, definitely read the label, even if it's a natural or touted as a healthy version of almond butter, because I've seen some brands that I thought were really healthy and all that, and then I looked at the label and there was sugar in them. So just check the labels. Alright, next I need 2 eggs. And normally I crack these into a separate dish. I don't generally crack them into the main dish. I'm just going to whisk these until they're smooth. And this almond butter is a little stiff, so it'll take a second. Next, I am going to add in 1/4 cup of maple syrup, and this is the only sugar, the only sweetener that goes into these muffins. So the chocolate flavor from the cocoa will really shine through. And I'll stir that in. And then I'm going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now for the dry ingredients. I'm going to put in 1/4 cup of baking cocoa or cacao, whichever one you got. Both of them will work just fine. And then 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm actually using kosher salt today, but you can use sea salt as well. Set my whisk aside, grab my scoop. Okay, so now I'm just going to scoop my batter into the muffin pan. And this handy little scoop I have here is about 1/4 cup or so. It's just the perfect muffin size. It puts the ideal amount of batter in each cup. That way you get your muffin size nice and even. And that way they bake evenly. Now, if you wanted to, you could also put some little chocolate chips into these muffins if you liked. That's totally optional. You could also add some chopped nuts and things like that. Alright, so it looks like I'm actually only going to get 7 muffins today. It tends to vary. Sometimes you get 7, sometimes you get 8. So now I'm going to set my muffin pans into the oven, and these are going to bake at 325 degrees for 18 to 20 minutes, or until when you stick a toothpick in the middle, the toothpick comes out clean. so that is it for today. That is how you make these delicious flourless chocolate muffins. If you like this recipe, you can find a printable version of it on cosmopolitancornbread.com, and I will put a link to that down below if you are watching this on YouTube. And while you're there, you can also find another 700 recipes, as well as many articles and other great content. Thanks for joining me here in the Homestead kitchen. My name is Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I'll talk to y'all next time.